us when we're live. We are live. Well, welcome to the Croft in Derby. This is a 326 bed student development in the heart of Derby with a GDV of 24 million. We're here with James Wigley, project manager from DW.
Hi, Fraser.
Hi again, James. We're going to do our usual walk around, have a look up to where we are after the last 6 weeks of development. We'll start off talking to Mick from Host. Here's Mick. I'm going to come and stand over next to him as he'll be near my microphone. So here we are doing what's called a direct let. So it's where the university haven't taken the lease, and we've appointed Host to a part of Victoria Hall. Mick, how are the lettings going?
Lettings going well at the moment. We've got 41 which are totally complete, ready to come. We've got a further 11 which are going to get the final bits of paperwork through this week. The international market itself is about to go live. All the students from the Far East are applying for their visas now, so we expect to see their bookings coming in shortly. And then we've got clearance to get through in August.
Yeah, so what date is clearance then?
Clearance should happen around about the 8th of August.
So that's going to be a big spur for us, isn't it?
Massive.
Because here we don't have a lease with the university, and their buildings they'll be recommending first. But I think the university have said that when their main buildings are let, they're going to be starting to kind of push people our way as well.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. Okay, right. Thank you very much, Mick. Get all those rooms filled, which would be great. So this is one of the communal rooms. So what we have is 4, 5, 6, and 7 formats for pod rooms.
4, 5, 6, 8 and 9.
Oh, sorry, yes. I'm thinking about Globeworks. And they all have a shared common room like this. The studios are different, which we'll have a look at. Everyone's got a shelf in the fridge, and in the freezer, and in the cupboard. But we'll go and have a look at the actual pod room itself. I think it's more interesting. Is it open down here, Mick?
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Come on in. Come on. We'll see how many people we can get into a pod room.
It's actually quite decent size.
They are. So these pod rooms are. This one's 13 metres squared, James. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so. It's that's minus the
about 2 metres squared for the shower
the actual
So
bathroom element.
All of the pod rooms have an inbuilt desk and shelves and a cupboard and storage and the bed, a queen size bed, and storage also underneath the bed. And I always think that it's when you see them without the furniture, they don't look big enough. But actually, when they're furnished, they look quite big. Can you remind me how many pod rooms and how many studios we've got here on this development?
That's an easy one. There's no studios on this development.
Oh, sorry. To say restricted access.
Okay,
rooms.
so the DDA rooms.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's 16 DDA rooms. They're considerably larger. Only 2 of them need to be appointed for DDA use, pre-occupation, which allows obviously a premium to be set on the remaining 14 because they are considerably bigger than the
we're kind of classing them as studio. I know what you mean. They're disabled access rooms, effectively, aren't they, with the bigger bathrooms? But pretty much all of the rooms are 30 metres squared like this.
Yep.
Okay. So here we've got a and B block of 9 and 8 stories, and we've also got the communal ground floor. So shall we head through to the site, James, and start?
You want to go to Block B?
Is that okay?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Or do you want to have a look at some of the accommodation above? What's your preference?
Yeah. Let's do that. We'll go upstairs first.
Upstairs.
Yeah. Thanks, Mick. Actually, let's just have a look at you can see the configuration here. There you are, Jade. So this is Block A and Block B, and the DDA rooms are all in a line, aren't they, James? So kind of the.
Right. So that's the DDA bedroom.
Yeah. So all the way
Block
through.
A, so going up in that position on all floors, and then on Block B, again outlined in the orange, and that's first floor to 7th. Yeah.
So basically the Block A that we're in at the moment is 9 stories and Block B is the 8 story. And then if we look down here, we're going to walk through here. One of the gents actually had a question. What is the size of this communal base, roughly in metres?
Roughly speaking, it'll be about 40-ish by 20-ish, 12-ish. 40 by 12.
40 by 12, so about
Yeah.
500 square
Yeah,
metres
give or take.
roughly.
Probably a bit more. Probably
Right.
more around the 600 mark. Corridors as well. So
But one of the things that's different about this accommodation block is that the other purpose-built ones don't have this amount of communal space. And there's a big lounge with the offices and also the gym here. So
yeah,
that would be quite a unique point of difference, I think.
completely different to anyone else in
Yeah.
Derby currently.
Darley Bank, not Agard Court and
There's
Cathedral
roughly
Court.
6,000 square foot of space.
Yeah, give or take.
Yeah.
That's very good.
There's plant room involved in that as well, obviously, and
And we've also got
laundry
the
and
laundry
stores.
room here, yeah. But it's significant, I think, for a development here in
Do you have
Derby.
a cinema room?
No, not here.
Are you saying that all the other, all the competition doesn't have that
No.
communal space?
Not at that
basically?
volume.
Right,
So,
okay.
and the gym itself is, as far as we're aware, it's the only development in Derby with a gym.
Are they paying a premium for that though? The individual students?
No, it's
I don't set the prices.
no.
Couldn't
Well,
tell
Mick,
you.
what's the price? It's the same as
Pricing,
Cathedral
the
Court.
pricing structure for it is sitting there almost identical to the university accommodation. So where we've got Cathedral Court and Agard that straddle either side of us, we are competitive with both of them. Totally unbiased opinion, we are better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so on a 42-week?
They're done on 43 and 51-week contracts.
Yeah.
The premium room, the smaller room,
Yeah.
on a 51 it's 137 and goes to 142.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then when you get to the large premium,
I'll come over here just in case you're not.
you'll
So-
see
so
when
got
you
it.
go to the large premium,
Yeah.
they start at 140 on a 51, and then on a 43 they go to 145.
Yeah.
And then the extra large premium, which has been very popular, they start at 145 and go to 150.
These are the DDA
A
rooms,
week.
aren't they?
Yes,
Basically,
These
like
are weekly prices.
at 43 or 51 weeks.
Where we've seen where our large premium room is actually sitting size-wise almost the equivalent of some of the larger rooms that are offered at the other sides. So these rooms are very generous in size.
And what's the forecast for student population over the next 3 years then? In
Derby University is starting to concentrate a lot on the international market.
Yeah.
We're going to see a big uplift in the international market at Derby.
Okay.
Derby has gone up the rankings in the Times University, moved 6 places this year. So it's all going
To
in the
what?
right direction.
I think it's about number 50 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it was down about 70 out of about 120 universities. So it's going up. It also recently got a gold teaching award as well,
Okay.
which is good. So it's now in the top half of the
So
universities.
the population, student population at Derby is how much?
Student population in Derby is sitting at around about 18,000 at the moment.
Okay, so it's still developing that.
It's
And that's-
still developing. Yeah.
And that's total students, including full and part-time.
Right.
So the full-time student base is the one to focus
Mhm.
on, which is
Good.
a slightly lower figure than that.
Yeah.
But it is growing, and more and more international students is good.
Is it not a fear though? What's the fear about the saturating the student accommodation market if it's only got 18,000 students?
Well, there's two things. So one is that there's quite a lot of existing student stock here in Derby.
Yeah.
So if over there, pretty much the 80's kind of non-ensuited stock. So students want to live in en-suited accommodation. So if they
Yeah.
want to do that in Derby, you've got Agard Court behind the law faculty. You've got Darley Bank, which is a bit further over there. It's quite big. You've got Cathedral Court, the first one we built, and the Croft. Now in total, that's about 1,700 rooms, which
Okay.
represents about 15% roughly of the full-time students. You need about 35 to 40% for saturation point for full-time students for purpose-built student accommodation. Okay, so these are the ones which are going to get filled first. Although the university en-suited ones are being pushed first by the university.
Okay, so
obviously.
you've got them on your side as well, the
Well,
university promoting them, have you?
No, they're not promoting them.
Oh.
They've been promoting their own ones, but they know
Okay.
that this is we want to do at least.
Prestigious development.
Yeah, and they want grade A accommodation, for their students. So I think as soon as those three are filled, they're going to start talking to students about these, which I
Right.
think they almost are, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, good.
So in an ideal world, we would have got a lease with the university, but they didn't offer us a lease. Which
Not this year.
Well, it's too late. We've agreed
Okay.
the sale of this
Right.
to a Singaporean fund.
Right.
So they had their opportunity because you could have shared facilities, shared staff, but they didn't go for it, so that's up to them. So this is being operated on a direct let model with host design.
Like an institutional investor then?
It's a fund, a Singaporean fund that are buying this, and we've agreed the sale with them, which we're forecasting to be Q4 of this year.
Excellent. Yeah, good.
Okay, thank you, Mick. Shall we head on?
Yep. Right, we're going through to the live area, so please all just mind your step and try and keep in a reasonably tight group if we could. Right, so the ground floor on this block is somewhat behind the remaining floors. The reason being is that the two buildings share services, and they only actually went in relatively recently. So these two corridors, the one behind us in that direction and this one here, have only just actually started having the work on them doing. A bit of luck, it'll all be done in about a week and a half. We should be out of here completely. All right. Okay. You got everyone?
Yep, come in.
Right. So this is an example of a smaller cluster. This is a 6-bed cluster. Kitchen is slightly smaller in footprint, as you'd expect. All the students still have a high level and a low level cupboard. There'll be an oven, 2 fridge freezers.
And this for 6 rooms?
This is for 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Furniture as well is prorated, but that doesn't actually form part of our contract. That sits client side.
Yeah, we've ordered all of that furniture from Eastern Europe.
Yeah, it's supposedly starting to arrive this time next week.
Okay, great. Lithuania, I think it's coming from.
Right.
Yeah. So it'll be just the same as we saw in the show apartment. So there'll be a table and some soft furnishings and a TV, which I presume will be over there.
Yeah, maybe just above those sockets just there.
How far is the university from here, Fraser?
It's just under 2 kilometres. So students here don't normally in a university city. Students want to live right next to the university, but Derby's a little bit unusual. That the university is on the outskirts of the town, and it's in a residential neighbourhood where students don't really want to live. Students here in Derby want to live in the city centre.
Yeah.
So they could walk, which would probably take them about half an hour. They could get the free university bus, or they could cycle.
Okay.
Our experience from Cathedral Court, which we're popping over to after, is that most students take the free university bus and not many cycle. There's been some kind of bike thefts, and students tend to have quite expensive bikes, so it tends to be the bus. Although the university, I think, offer a free bike insurance scheme. The student union do, but there have been some issues with that. But there's lots of free university buses. We might well see some spinning around as we go through. So, yeah. I don't want to. I can't. I don't know. There's some. Oh, there you go. Thank you, Mohammed. They're very regular.
Well, we certainly still have a requirement to provide a good cycle provision, well, storage for cycles.
Yeah, I mean it's one for every 2 rooms, isn't it?
No, 82 in total. So I mean it comes in
less.
probably one every 4 rooms, something like that.
Because actually, we were just over at Gladeworks, and it was only about 30, 35, 520 rooms.
Yeah.
And I remember at Cathedral Court, it was one for every other room, but they're hardly used. So
No, I mean they certainly ended up removing a number of the cycle
yeah,
racks over there because they had a better use for the space.
yeah. And they also built a lockup for the bikes over there.
The student bus is only run in the afternoon, is that right?
No, all day. Yeah, yeah. Very good. Good to see you, Tony.
Right, so if
There's
we just,
always one, isn't there, Anish?
we'll just check to see if another one of these doors are open.
Is this one
Right,
of the...
this is one of the DDA bedrooms, or premium.
Stands for what?
Oh, you're not the first person to ask that. Disabled access.
Disabled direct access, I
Oh,
think.
right, okay.
Yeah, well done.
Thank you. It's normally you that knows the answer to those questions.
No, there's too many acronyms.
Yeah. So basically you can get a
Acronyms.
wheelchair in and out, and these are like the studios, the premiums.
So, yeah, mentioning downstairs, there's there's 16 of this size room, only 2 have to be fitted up with the pull cords for notifying staff of any problem, which allows most of them to be have the uplifting premium.
Yeah. It's like a studio.
You said there's 16, 2 with the disabled rooms and the other 14.
The other 14 they look just like this. They are like this. The big difference is there's no pull cords within the toilet areas.
Is that the regulations that these two need to be?
It's a concession by building control.
It's a planning condition as well. There's 2 for this building. And there's 2 for Cathedral Court as well. So
Yeah, they're aware that if they insist on all of them being fitted out, what you tend to end up with is a bunch of rooms not being let. And that's no good for anyone. They're not interested in having a bunch of empty rooms.
Yeah. That's Cathedral Court. That's the first one that we built, the one that was finished in 2016.
Brand new or?
Yeah, brand new. That was it was being used as an illegal car park, and it had planning for an office block. And at that time, there was no requirement for a Grade A office block in 2015. There is now, ironically. And that was one that we did for Aviva Investors and University of Derby with DW Hicks, the same contractor again, finished on time and on budget. So,
How many voids in that one?
how many
Voids? What percentage rented?
voids? 100? No voids. 100% let. So that's why we're so confident here. So it's finishing its 3rd year at 100%. And we'll be going over and meeting John, the caretaker, from there shortly, and he tells it like it is, which is great. Yeah. That's what you want, really.
Do you want to go further up the building, or would you prefer to go over onto Block B and take a look?
Yeah, let's go to Block B.
Yeah.
Won't stab ourselves.
Just make sure we've got everyone collected. Okay.
Nice little courtyard area, is it?
Yeah, is that
So-
yeah? Come through.
Yeah, well, crane base. The crane came down last week. We're having you'll appreciate this.
No, sir.
On the city centre site. So
When we've got everyone, have we lost anyone?
I think we're going to head up soon.
Oh, you're going to head off, right? Okay. Great to see you, Stuart. Would you mind getting the PPE?
Yeah,
chaps?
sure, yeah.
Great to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Lovely to meet you. Okay.
Thank
Thank you. I'll follow up with you. Okay.
Yeah, we'll drop an email.
Okay. Stuart will show you back to the. Just for the sake of the individuals that haven't been here before, can you just quickly talk us through the construction method
okay,
of this?
it's a traditional slab. Here it's just a ground slab on Block A, but Block B has a first floor, or we term it as a podium slab. The reason that goes in as a concrete frame is the spans within the ground floor on Block B. The remainder of the superstructure is all a light gauge steel frame system. The particular one that we have secured for here is a pre-insulated system, so all of the exterior panels, they're like SIPs. I'm not sure if you're aware of structural insulated panels, but it's they come prefab.
The yellow things there on the slightly exposed there on the
That's
insulation. That's part of the cladding system.
Okay.
And
So
basically, if you look down here, these are the real bricks, the blues at the bottom.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then from this line here, these are all tiles, basically.
Oh, right, okay.
they're acrylic brick slips.
So you get the fusion frames, which are like Meccano. They kind of
Yeah.
get delivered in sections, don't
Yeah.
they? And then they get not boarded, covered over with the insulation and kind of screwed in, and then
It's rendered,
rendered, and then these go on top.
Yeah, that's correct.
And
Wow.
post Grenfell, it all
Yeah.
well, it all complies. We had to also install water sprinklers here, which actually isn't current building regs, but should be.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's rightly,
Safety first.
yeah, and at Globeworks. So the thing is, why wasn't it?
How do sprinklers get set off? Does someone press the fire alarm when it goes off? Or is
It's a double knock system, so
I was going to say you got a load of pissed students in
Yeah.
the morning.
no, you need heat within the area, so it's a bulb that melts, but it also needs the smoke alarm to actually have gone off in the vicinity as well.
Smash the button and it go off.
No, it's like anything. I mean, if they're desperate to make it stop, they can smash a hole in the ceiling and cut the pipe.
Yeah.
But the sprinklers won't go off unless they're meant to go off.
And the last time we were here, like you're saying, the crane was here. I think it follows us round. Well, I follow the crane round. One of the. And what's the plan then for this bit of the communal area, James?
It's largely the crane base itself is another small grassed area, which is
Right.
just as well because you won't get anything else to grow on a crane base. Grass doesn't need too much to
Yeah.
grow, but you certainly won't be able to plant it.
And the bike stores around the back, aren't
So
they?
there's one. You can just see the concrete pad just there, the corner of it. There's another one in that corner, and there'll be a third one just in front
Right.
here. So there's a bin store and another bike
Right,
rack just here.
right, yeah. You can see.
So yeah, it's a slightly unusual situation. There's a canopy that goes in there, but the canopy is predominantly to actually serve as a bridge for the services, shared services between the two
I
buildings.
see, yeah.
So what you're looking at the door there is one of the two entrances for the accommodation in Block B. The other one is the married up version where Simon has just walked by.
I think this chap's trying to. Should we go into? Or get out of his way.
You won't want to go in that one
Oh,
at the
no.
moment. We'll go in this one. So I'll show you as we. It's all right, don't worry. What we've walked into is the entrance into reception.
Yeah.
So anyone coming off the street or whatever, there's a security gate which fits between the two buildings. This is the entrance into reception. Jade is currently stood where the reception desk will be.
Yep.
Behind that is a small sort of back office. There is a meeting room just here, a post room on the rear. Entranceway with double doors going into the lounge area. You probably saw the CGIs when we were in the
Yeah.
post flat. And to the right just here is a small kitchenette for the staff. If you wander around, you can see the rest.
So, yeah,
Just
this is
careful of your
yeah.
step, please.
So we're now in the public access area, and this would be where you can. Well, you can
This is
see
the
where the actual.
yeah, this is the kitchenette that we're in just here. That one there, obviously the track on the ground will be folded up, but that's the double doors coming through into the lounge space.
Yeah. So this is current.
It's also our storeroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good old run, so it tends to be a bit beefy, which is why as always with this extensive curtain walling, it's quite difficult keeping everything secure.
Yeah,
So when we're able to lock the doors now, which is a big comfort with.
There's a lot of money there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, toilet block for the lounge area. It consists of 4 toilets, a cleaner's store, some locker space and changing room for the staff.
And then we've got the laundry rooms over here, James.
Yeah, laundry room straight ahead. This is more lounge area. It's sort of one big open plan space.
Yeah. So
Laundry.
That's similar kind of size to Cathedral Court. We'll probably get about what 10
There'll be
things in here.
there's 6 units, but they're double stacked. So,
So this is again more part of the communal lounge area.
yep.
So we've got all of this space, which is none of the other blocks have, and then down here is where the gym's going to be. So
Yeah.
come down. So this is a USP for student accommodation in Derby. This whole area is going to be the gym. Okay, it's a private gym just for the students. And the podium, the slab is that we can have more width and more height.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the height is, you'll be able to do height out of fusion frame, but the clear
mainly the
span is
Yeah.
the reason for using the reinforced concrete frame.
Yeah. And you can, and this is going to be a nice area for a gym. What's going to be finished outside here then, James?
This is all defensive planting, so
Right.
thorny but very beautiful bushes.
Defensive planting, is that the technical term?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, yeah. Shrubs. Shrubs. Hawthorn. You like hawthorn, don't you? We have a planting scheme that's been approved by Derby City Council, so we don't get to put in whatever we like. We do have to comply.
Right. And is this and the plant room's through here, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean you
In
can't
there,
get to
you
it through
get to it.
internally. It's an external door which we can go and have a wander down and into if anyone's interested. It's plant rooms are very much a trial of trying to squeeze a quart into a pint glass.
Yeah.
So
And in terms of completion, the building will be ready on schedule at the end of August.
yep, that's correct. Students are due to arrive sort of 14th of September.
To
I think.
mid-September. So it's quite tight, but we had to use up. No, they'll achieve it. DW Hicks will get there. They always have. The build program got tightened down a bit, but still achieved the timescale. So what I'll do is I'll probably end this Facebook Live session now, just to thank you very much.
No problem. Thank
We're
you very
going to
much.
come back when it's finished. Thank
Yep.
you. And we'll see you on the next Facebook Live.